Hello and welcome to our lesson on Vayikra Perek Hey, that's chapter 5. And today we're going to learn about two karbanot, the karban asham, the guilt offering, and the asham me'ilot, the guilt offering for stealing money from the temple treasury, the Bet HaMikdash or Mishkan treasury. Well, this is how it works. You see, there are three types of sins that a person could be guilty to bring a karban asham. Number one, if you lied in court under oath and you said, I did not witness some situation involving money, like you were supposedly have witnessed someone lent money to someone else and you now deny it, and then you later admit that you did see it, so you lied under oath about money. Like this beautiful picture over here, drawn by one of our students. Oh, I swear, and he's holding the Torah in his hand, and he says he swears in the Beit Din, in the court, to deny a monetary case, and he later on admits that he was lying. He has to bring this type of korban. The second scenario is when somebody forgot their status as tameh or tameh mate. That means they touched a dead body or one of these other types of impurity which are beyond the scope of this video. For example, a zav, zava, nida, maga, and he ate kodshim, that's holy meat from a sacrifice. And you're not allowed to eat kodshim if you are tameh. Or you entered the Bet HaMikdash while you were tameh. So here's another picture over here, right? You have first the guy touches in contact with a dead body or area around, and he's now impure. Then he goes and he eats the meat of a karban, or he goes into the holy temple, the Bet HaMikdash, while he is impure. He must bring a karban asham. And finally, the third case is someone who swears something. Somebody who swears to do something or not to do something and then violates their promise. And he forgot he violated his promise. Like he said, I swear I will not eat any candy anymore. And then the next day, yum, candy. And he eats it up and he remembers, oops. He has to go bring a karban asham, a guilt offering. And this is the guilt offering. The guilt offering that he has to bring is very unique, that this offering has the following conditions that need to be met. If it's called a karban oleh v'yored, it goes up or down. Oleh goes up or down depending on the financial means. If a person is rich, poor, or poorest, it changes the type of karban that Hashem asked them to bring. Person is rich, he brings a female sheep or goat. If a person is poor, they can't afford a large animal like a sheep, they bring two birds, one as an olah and one as a chatat, a sin offering. And the olah is burnt and the chatat is eaten by the kohanim of that shift. And someone who's really poor, poorest, they can't even afford birds, he brings a mincha, he brings a flour offering of matzah. And what's different about this is that although, unlike the other minchot, which you put oil and a special spice called the vona or frankincense on it, this one, since it's brought because of a sinner, we don't put the fancy oil and spices on it. It's not a happy karban, and that is the rule about the karban asham. Now, there's another type of asham, and this is called a asham me'ilot, an asham brought for misusing the property of the holy Bet HaMikdash. So it goes like this. Okay, if somebody uses some money which belongs to the Bet HaMikdash, first of all, they have to bring. So, for example, let's say that Mr. Shmerel over here rides a bull. Let's zoom in on that bull, see it a little bigger. Okay, he rides a bull belonging to the Bet HaMikdash. Now that is forbidden. That is misuse of temple property. So he has now caused that bull to be unfit for a sacrifice. So he needs to do the following two things. First of all, he needs to give another bull to the temple treasury. He's got to pay back what he has stolen. Second of all, he has to add 1/5 penalty, 1/5 of the value of this bull to the Bet HaMikdash. Now it's very interesting that the way that's actually paid out is that he pays 1/5 of the total amount of money which the bull and the fifth is worth. For example, if the bull was worth $100, he pays $125. Why? Because the $25 extra is 1/5 of 125. Although you would think it's 1/5 of 100, it's interesting. Our rabbis teach us that it's 1/5 of the total amount. Okay? So that's his penalty. He has to pay back what he stole plus the fifth penalty. And he also has to bring an asham korban. He has to bring a ram worth a certain amount of money as an asham korban to be forgiven. So that is the details about a korban asham. Okay? So in chapter Perek Hey, chapter 5, we learned about the korban asham. We learned about two types. One korban asham for these three sins, either lying in court about money, eating a sacrifice when tameh, or going into the temple when tameh, violating an oath that you made, and in those situations you can bring either one, depending on your financial status, a female sheep or lamb, 2 birds, or a mincha offering without oil or frankincense, depending on the finances of the person. And then we learned about one stole from the temple, they have to bring back what they stole, plus a fifth, plus a ram worth a certain amount called an asham. Now, a silly story to help us remember it. In chapter 5, which rhymes with hive, we will be introduced to the beehive. Bee, I'm a busy bee. Hey bees, where are we gonna find something to eat? Hey, let's go to the temple. A lot of sinners around there. And we can get to consume some of their karbanot with the Kohanim. That's a great idea. Let's go. Oh, look, there I see it. I see a rich man's korban, a rich man's sheep. Let us go and consume the rich man's korban. Ah! Hey, beehive is consuming me. Oh no, I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed. You mean you're ashamed? You're an asham korban and you're getting consumed by the bees. Oh, we're still hungry. Look, there's a couple of birds. Fly after them. Let's consume those birds. Ow, ow, we're so ashamed. We're so ashamed. You mean you're an asham? You're ashamed. You shouldn't have done that sin, and then the bees wouldn't get you. Look at that matzah. How about some matzah? Oh, it's gross. There's no oil or frankincense. Okay. Well, this has been the Beehive in Chapter 5, signing off about our experience with the korban asham. Really delicious. Okay, thank you very much, our Beehive company. Remember, this didn't really happen. It's just a silly story to remember that Chapter 5, which rhymes with hive, we learned about the korban asham, the 3 types of sins that you can do, either lying under oath, or eating sacrificial meat, or going to Bet HaMikdash when tameh, or violating an oath. You could either bring a rich man's korban, poor man's korban, or the poorest man's korban. And if you stole money from the temple, that is an asham called asham me'ilot. You have to add a 5th plus a ram. Signing off, and thank you for watching.